kid that comes with the block. You could end up inside of a box when you get your eyeballs by out after getting set up by thought. Opportunity, it doesn't knock. No, that's not right there be the cops. And all of that stress that we talking still beats punching the clock. You think I want to sweep your floor from 8 to 4? Fuck, I want to take your orders for when your favorite star got an Audemars that's worth more than mama's car. Type of shit make you want to say fuck the law. When your rent's due and your piss poor, nigga, we don't even own our own corner store. So quarter waters, cause a quarter more. We want to be an entrepreneur. We want sign checks. We want work for ourselves. We want limits. You're too much of a threat when you're on your own assets. So the only thing that show us is how to be an outlet. So we won't connect. Let's say hi like hola. Listen to Hova. Whip up a rover. Been watching Power. Tommy and Ghost, bruh. So I need some powder. Fish scale and soda for 99 cents. Solid repent, when you gotta pay rent. Breaking sodas only 99 cents. Make it make sense, no, make it make sense. Breaking sodas only 99 cents. Solid repent, when you gotta pay rent. Breaking sodas only 99 cents. Make it make sense, no, make it make sense. Yeah, you see the money, you're promoted.
What happened now?
My history, crack cocaine is like the multi. It's plain and simple.
Right. Who calls me, bro? Like, nobody calls me all day.
Like it's time to grind, just like the times when niggas lie. Hold up. Back then was the bad days. Motherfuckers push me that way. I was a crack baby. Tell me nothing about my mother and the struggle. See, I love you in the sluggish, trying to smoke she hustle. Selling everything in the house, goddamn. She ain't give a damn about the spouse, goddamn. So my oldest brother had a man up. Had to take care of us in the piece with 4 kids. I learned on the way with no quit. No food in the fridge, on some cold shit. Got food from the neighbors. Tie working, there's no phases. Late night, he was shot bodegas. Upper bread is a meat, some mayo. Kool-Aid had about 4 flavors. And when time went to cash out, I could lash out. Told me he'd take food stamps. $15 for that kid. Fuck all that shit. Then the young nigga noticed that he could be the coldest. Take back what they hold us. Whole world on the shoulders. No food in the kitchen but the stove work. $10 in the sack and he pointed to the back saying, I give me kill that soul. 99 cents. Solid repent when you gotta pay rent. Making sodas only 99 cents. Make it make sense, no, make it make sense. Making sodas only 99 cents. Solid repent when you gotta pay rent. Making sodas only 99 cents. Make it make sense, no, make it make sense. Yeah.
So let me get this shit straight. So I gotta go take out loans to go to school, to get a job, just to pay for the loans I took out in the first place. I'm looking at this almond hammer like I should have a hammer in my arm right goddamn now. Shit ain't make no sense. Lord, make it make sense. Goddamn.
Baking soda's only 99 cents. Hey, it's all to repent. And you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, girl. Make it make sense. Only 99 cents.
Ad-libs.
You know what? What is going on? What is? Nobody calls me all day. I just got 2 phone calls in 5 minutes. What? If it was from the same person, I'd be nervous.
You talking about airplane mode, you know?
Hey. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West 125th Street under Commanding General Yohana, and we've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth since 1969. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah Barakatham to all the brothers, Yahweh Shema Latan Bashim, Yahweh Shah to all the sisters, right? So the truth of the matter is, right, is that Esau, we last week we discovered who Esau was out the Bible, right? Now we know that Esau is the so-called red man, the red man on the planet. The so-called white man, he's not really white. He's actually red or different shades of pink, right? Different shades of red, because pink is a shade of red, right? So now we know that Esau is the white man, right? And today we're going to go into the crimes and the judgment of Esau out of the Bible, right? Because if we know anything, Esau has never paid for any of his crimes in the world. None of his war crimes, none of his crimes about against humanity, none of his crimes against the animals that he wipes out. Right? Esau hasn't paid for any of those crimes yet, but he's going to pay for those crimes. The Most High is saving a special date for him to pay for those crimes in a special way that he's going to pay that Esau is going to pay for those crimes. All right, so but today we're going to get into some of these crimes out of the Bible that Esau has pertained onto the Israelites, and then we're going to get some outside of the Bible, more recent history about what Esau has been doing. All right, that's what today's class is. That's what today's class is on. It's going to be on that's why the title is the crimes and judgment of Esau, and right up here you see it says Esau cannot escape judgment. No matter how much he wants to escape judgment, he cannot escape judgment. That's why he goes to every other land and conquers that land and start calling himself by the name of that people, because he is trying not to be singled out, or not to be for everybody not to know who the devil is, who the evil one is, the man of sin is. All right, so that's why that's why he doesn't call himself Esau anymore. He calls himself German, British. Right. Australian, American. He calls himself all these things because he doesn't want everybody to know his real nationality as being Esau. That's why he calls himself white, because there's no white man in the Bible. And Christians use that a lot. There's no white man in the Bible, and but they call themselves African American. They call themselves Mexican. They call themselves Puerto Rican. None of those are in the Bible either.
Right.
But none of those are in the Bible either. So that's what that. So today's class is Esau cannot escape judgment. The crimes and the judgment of Esau. Right, because that's all he does in the world is commit crimes against the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, crimes against other nations, crimes against animals, crimes against the ozone layer.
Right,
crimes against the ozone layer. Even the ozone layer, Esau commits crimes about that. Salakia.
No, you good? You good?
Man. All right, man. So let's get into it, man. Let's get Let's get Hebrews 5 and 12, man. Let's get Hebrews 5 and 12.
Come on, I got it.
All right, go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 12. For when for the time you ought to be teachers.
Right. So when you ought to be teachers, because everybody wants to teach. The one thing with the Bible is everybody picks up the Bible, reads a Bible scripture, and now they think they're Bible scholars. Right, when they haven't went to no schooling for it, they haven't been, and the only place you can go to school for it and be taught the Bible correctly is by coming to the I.S.U.P.K. That's who teaches the whole truth out of the Bible. Right, these Israelite groups, these fake Israelite groups don't do it. These Christian churches aren't going to do it. They go to theology school to learn about theology. They don't learn about the Bible.
Right,
they don't learn about the Bible. But I.S.U.P.K. has classes 7 days a week teaching you the Bible. They let you. We're going back in culture. We have a Friday Hebrew class, man, where we go the Lashawan Kodash, man, where we go in and dissect the Lashawan Kodash, and you can actually go there and ask questions and learn about the language that's your culture, man. The Black, Hispanic, and Native American culture is the Lashawan Kodash. You know what I mean? We have the Sabbath service, just like they had in the Bible. We have Sabbath service on the Sabbath, right? We have scripture breakdowns. We have brotherhood classes. We have history classes, and then we also have law classes. Something that the world does not do, which is law class. So, if you want to be a teacher, you have to come to the I.S.U.P.K. and be taught again. Go ahead.
Come on. Ye have need that one teach you again.
Right. You have need that one teach you again. You have need that one teach you again. I know you was this and that in the world, or you were this and that in over here before you came into the I.S.U.P.K. But when you come into the I.S.U.P.K., you need to do what?
You have need that one teach you again.
You have need that one teach you again, man. You have to be taught all over again, man. You have to become as a baby. You have to become as a baby again, and you have to get the milk of the scripture. You have to get the simple things of the scriptures, because a lot of people don't even know that the law is still intact. Everybody says, oh, the law is done away with, but the law is still intact. Right? You ask somebody about what sin is in the Bible. They tell you all this. Don't be sinning and this, that, and 30 years. What is a sin according to the Bible? And they can't tell you, man. So you have to learn all over again, man. Keep going.
Come on. Teach you again, which be the first principles.
The what?
The first principles.
No, the second.
The first principles.
We're gonna work on ourselves, and then we're gonna do what?
Teach you again, which be the first principle.
Yeah, so the first principle is to be taught all over again. How can you know what not to do if you don't know what not to do? Right? So somebody has to teach you about the law, statutes, and commandments all over again because your Christian church has never taught you about the law, statutes, and commandments. People think saying a cuss word is a sin. It's not a sin. It's found upon in the high epsilon of society or whatever, but it's not a sin. Keep going, Art.
Okay. The first principles of the oracles of Yahweh.
It's the first principles of what?
The oracles of Yahweh.
That's first principles of the oracles of the Most High, man. The Most High wants you to be taught all over again, man, because you have to be taught everything all over again. Because you're out here calling yourself a Black, Hispanic, and Native American, but really you're the children of you're the children of Yahweh, man. You're the children of Yasha'Allah, man. You are the children of Israel, man. You are princes and princesses of the power, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, and Black woman, Hispanic woman, and Native American woman. Y'all are the princes and princesses of the Most High, man. Keep going.
And are become such as have need of milk.
Have need of what?
Need of milk.
There goes that milk word, right? So just like a baby, you know, when anything is first born, they need milk. Especially, well, not anything. I don't know about like reptiles and stuff like that. But like with mammals, when we come out of our mother produces milk to nourish us, man.
Right.
To nourish us, to get to so we can get all the nutrients that we need until our nutrient stage is over. Then we don't need that milk anymore. Then we can start eating meat when our teeth come in. We can start, you know what I mean? So first we have to have what?
It says, and are become such as have need of milk.
So when you come to learn again like a baby, man, you're gonna need the milk of the scriptures, man. You can't get the deep mysteries. First, you have to get the milk, the simple things, man. The simple things of the scriptures, and then you can start going into the meat scriptures and learning different things and learning the special things that you need to learn out of the Bible, man.
Right.
But first, you have to become a baby again and learn from a little itty bitty tyke. Can I say that?
No, that's right.
You know what I mean? From knee high to a centipede's toe. Let's say that. Go ahead.
Come in need of milk and not strong meat.
Right, because you don't need strong meat, because when you start to get in the strong meat of things, people start to get confused. You know what I mean? They start to wonder about everything else, but then they lose sight about the simple things like who to sleep with on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not to smoke weed, not to smoke cigarettes, not to do drugs.
Right.
You know what I mean? No, don't be a drunkard. You know what I mean? What adultery is. You know, the simple things, those simple things of the earth, how not to be a murderer, how not to hate your brother or sister, right. How to be a brother or a sister. You feel me? Because when you don't have those things at grasp at hand, and you start to look at the mysteries, deep mysteries of the Bible, right, which is good, and you'll get there. But first, you have to know you have to get the milk, and then you can be able to get the strong meat. All right. Let's read that one more time.
Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 12. For the time you ought to be teachers.
Right. For the time you ought to be teachers. Right. So everybody's going to want to be a teacher of the Bible. But when it's time for you to become a teacher, right? Go ahead. What do you need to do first?
Ye have need that one teach you again.
You have need that one teach you again when you want to become teachers. You have to be taught all over again. Right, because you have even if you're a teacher, let's say you're a teacher in a school, right, where you teach people, right, and then you want to come to the I.S.U.P.K. You might understand teaching, but you don't understand the teachings of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, man. You don't understand the teachings of the Most High, man. You don't understand those teachings, so you have to be taught those all over again, so you can teach again. Keep going.
that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh.
Be the what?
Be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh.
That's the first principles of the oracles of God. Keep going.
And are become such as have need of milk.
Right, because you got to become a baby again, so you're going to need milk. You're going to need the small things first. Keep going.
And not of strong meat.
And not of strong meat, because everybody always want to ask about the strong meat of the scriptures. Man, first you got to understand about where Christianity comes from.
Mm-hmm.
First you got to understand who the devil is. First you got to understand where you come from in the Bible. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Art.
I just want to add to that. You know, today, me and my pops, we stopped by Urban Smoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
We went and got some brisket. They got that good brisket, right? Very flavorful. It was fantastic. We loved it. Loved the seasoning. All that was on point, right?
Right.
You can't give that to a baby.
Right. You can't.
But to a baby, that milk is amazing for the baby, right?
That milk is that brisket.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's levels to it. Even that milk still has a good flavor at the time where you need it to be that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it scales up. And over time, once you have that down and you start to get into the more mysterious parts of the scriptures, the prophetic parts of the scriptures, the more advanced topics, then it'll taste good to you as well.
Right.
And then you appreciate it more because you appreciated the milk first.
You're damn right, Art.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
no, it's like you're damn right. Damn right. You was spot on with that, man. All right, man. Let's go to now. We're gonna move on to the next scripture, man. Isaiah 28, verses 9.
Come on.
Isaiah 28, verse 9. Because everybody wants to pick up the Bible and everybody wants to read this and read that. But how do you read the Bible to get the mysteries? You know what I mean? How do you read the Bible to get the mysteries, the understandings of it? This is how you read the Bible, man. That's why you see priests and prophets always jumping around. You know what I mean? From Old Testament to New Testament here and there. You know what I mean? Because that's how that's how we read the Bible, man. That's how we get that deep understanding of the Bible. But it takes years of studying to get that. You can't just get it off the muscle. You know what I mean? It takes years of studying. You know what I mean? And then even though you might read a scripture and understand it or don't understand it, you come back to that scripture a month later, it's going to have a whole new meaning because you didn't grew so much in a month. You didn't grew so much in a week. Right? You might read that scripture, don't know what it means at all, but then come back to it in a couple weeks, and you be like, man, that scripture makes a lot of sense now because you've been through things, more things, different things that happens. All right, you got that for me?
Come on. We looking at Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge?
See, this is a question. The Most High did asking who is he going to teach knowledge? Who is he going to teach these deep oracles to? Who is he going to teach these scriptures to? Somebody that's going to understand these parables in this Bible. Who is he going to teach that to? Go ahead.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Right. And who is going to understand the Lord's doctrine? Who's going to understand the Lord's doctrine? The people that he gives it to, man. The people he gave it to, which was blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He didn't give the doctrine of the Most High to everybody. He didn't give these laws, statutes, and commandments to everybody. He gave them to blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, the children of Israel. Yasha'Allah in the Hebrew, man. That's who the Most High gave it to. Start that over one more time.
Khan, Isaiah chapter 28, verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge?
He's going to teach the knowledge of the Bible, the laws, statutes, and commandments to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the children of Israel. Keep going.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
And the doctrine is going to be to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. That's who the doctrine is going to be given to, man, because that's who it was given to in the old times, in ancient times, and that's who it's given to now under the leadership of Commander General Yohana. Go ahead.
Khan. Them that are weaned from the milk.
Those that are what?
Weaned from the milk.
There goes that milk word again, man. Those that are weaned from the milk, man. Those that have that those that are wanting to become babies again so they can get the strong mysteries in the future. But first they have to become a baby again and understand all over again. That's why in I.S.U.P.K we have our time where you're a young man, time where you're a trooper. You know what I mean? Where your job is to be quiet and ask questions, as many questions as you want, and just follow orders. That's the job. That's your job. Because when you come officer 50, you might be having to lead troopers and young men. So first you have to learn how to follow. And the only way you can learn how to follow is by being able to follow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's how you can be a leader, is by first following. Right? Am I right or am I wrong?
That's right.
You know what I mean? So that's why, but at that time that you're a young man, or that you're a trooper, is the time that you are learning, man. That you are forever learning, but that's the time that you are with the milk, man. You know what I mean? Like you should be called the milkman, because that's all you need to be getting, man. That's all you need to be getting is the milk, the understanding of the law, what the law is about, brotherhood. You know what I mean? And the history of things, so you can get some understanding of what goes on and what's happening in the world. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. And drawn from the breast.
Right, and drawn from the breast. Where does milk come from? Even with a cow, milk come from the breast with a cow. Right? Comes from the breast of the mother. Comes from the breast of the what else drinks milk, man? Goats. Mm-hmm. It comes from the breast of the mother, because the Most High gave you something natural that you can drink when you're a baby, and it's not like women, for instance, right? They don't have breast milk all year round, or they don't have breast milk every day. You know what I mean? It's only when they have the baby,
right? Only
up to a certain amount of time where the baby has to be nurtured, mm-hmm. right, or with the nutrients. So it's not like, so the Most High gave the Most High. The Most High gave you a reproductive system and a way to sustain the baby while the baby is in the nutrient stage. And that's all over, and that's in everything, right? That's with people, that's with animals. The Most High gave you a way to be nurtured, right? Just like he gave you a way to be nurtured in the scriptures. He gave you some scriptures where there's milk, and he gave you some scriptures where there's meat.
Sir,
keep going.
That's right. Come on, verse 10. For precept must be upon precept.
Because precept must be upon precept, right? Because you're gonna read about it here. You might not read the whole details, but then you get the rest of the details over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But you have to be forever learned, or forever learning to get that over here, and to get that over here, you're like, and then you're gonna be like, oh, that's a precept for that precept. I remember that precept, and you're gonna be able to understand it. You're gonna be able to get it then, like, oh, put this with this. That's deep. That's you know what I mean?
That's right.
As you gonna be like, that's deep right there. You're gonna start to understand precept upon precept. Go ahead.
Come. Precept upon precept. Line upon line.
See, there it is, line upon line. You can be like, oh, this and that right there, that match, line upon line. Precept upon precept. Go ahead.
Line upon line. Here a little and there a little.
Right. Here a little and there a little. That's how you understand the deep mysteries of the Bible. And first, a man has to teach you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So a man has to teach you. That's why we have the men above us, man. 500s, or we have the officers of 50s for the troopers. Then for the 500s, for the 50s, we have the officers of 500. For the officers of 500, we have the officers of 1,000. For the officers of 1,000, we have the officers of 5,000. For the officers of 5,000, we have captains of 10,000. For the captains of 10,000, we got captains of 13,000. Above them, we have generals, and then we have commanding general. You know, the list goes on.
Right.
This goes on. If you can't get an answer from that brother can call the brother above him and get the answer for you, and it comes down. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But you will get that answer answered. You know what I mean? You will get that answer answered. That's a must. That's that. Like you could trust that with everything. Let's start at verse 10 again.
Come. Isaiah chapter 28, verse 10. For precept must be upon precept.
For what?
Precept must be upon precept.
For precept must be upon precept. Right? Keep going.
Precept upon precept.
It says it again. Keep going.
Line upon line. Line upon line.
Right.
Here a little and there a little.
Right. That's the only way you can get the deep understanding of the Bible. That's the only way you can get that strong meat. But first, you need milk weaned from the breast. All right. Now let's go to the next scripture. Let's get Romans chapter 15, verse 4.
Okay.
Romans chapter 15, verse 4. Because I hear all the time that, oh, the Old Testament is done away with. The Old Testament is done away with. Right? That's what they say all the time. The Old Testament is done away with. No, the Old Testament is not done away with. You know what I mean? Because everything that the reason why the whole Bible is together with the whole Bible is because it's made for you to learn from.
Right.
It's made for you to learn from. The whole Bible is made for you to learn from. No way the Most High is going to give you the Bible, the Old Testament, and then give you the New Testament. Like the Old Testament is done away with. It's lucky. No way. No way. And then there's no way that where Christ was walking, was there a New Testament wrote already?
La.
Right? The New Testament was not wrote. So he would have to be reading and studying from something, which was the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm.
And everything Christ and those 12 disciples laid down, that was from the Old Testament. You know what I mean? That was from the Old Testament. That's why when you go into the New Testament, you can read something and then you can find that in the Old Testament. But first you have to be forever. You have to try to learn it. You can't just recycle your same 5 sermons. You know what I mean? 6 sermons that you do and then keep on redoing those same sermons. Pastors get their sermons off Google. You know what I mean? Going to Googling Queffo Dollar and saying his sermon. Go ahead.
Come on. Romans chapter 15, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
It says whatever things was written before time, right? So whatever was written in the Old Testament, right? We have stories that's going to come out today. We have articles that's going to come out today that's not in the Bible, but it's still for our learning.
Right.
Right? It's still for something for us to learn from, right? Keep going.
We're written for our learning.
Right, because that's what we learn from, man. If we don't learn from that, what do we learn from? Right? If we're not going to learn from our history, we're just destined to repeat the same history. So if we don't learn that the law, statutes, and commandments that we must keep them, or we're going to keep going through the punishments and curses of the Most High, right? That then we're just going to keep not doing those law, statutes, and commandments. But first we have to learn these things, right? That's why the first 2 scriptures was perfect. You know what I'm talking about? Because when you want to become teachers, you need to learn all over again. Precept must be upon precept. And now what things that we learn are the things that was written before time was written for our learning. You need to take that? It was written for our learning. Right? Go ahead.
That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Right. Because when we read these scriptures, that we gonna have hope and faith on that thing, man. I mean, why wouldn't we? Everything else that we read has come to pass, right? Why wouldn't we have faith that the future that the prophecies that haven't happened yet aren't going to happen? That we have faith that they are going to happen. You know what I mean? We have faith that they are going to happen, man. That's why we read the Bible. That's why we read the old things that happened. It was like, man, you know, at that time there was no way they could have known that we were going to go into slavery on slave ships, but it was written in there and it happened. Wow. You know what I mean? Wow. That is, you know what I mean? So of course, when we think about these future judgments of Esau, man, right? When we think about these future judgments of Esau, of course we're going to be believing these things, man. Why wouldn't we believe in these things? The things that happened in the past in the Bible that was going to come to pass happened. So what Moses and them said in Deuteronomy 28 came to pass. It was prophecy. It happened. Now it's our history, right?
Right.
So what do we think now? The things that we read that hasn't happened yet, is that not going to come to pass? No, that's more than likely going to come to pass, man, because the things that was wrote back then came to pass. So why wouldn't the rest of it be valid?
Exactly.
And the Bible's the only book that has prophecy in it, man. No other book is going to have prophecy in it, man, because no other book is ordained by the Most High, man. Nobody else is dealing with the Most High, man. All right. Let's read that. Oh, we're not right. Yeah, let's read that one more time.
Romans chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Right.
That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
All right. We're gonna have hope on those things, man. Because we pray that the Most High is coming. We pray that the Most High sends Christ and the angels back, man, to set us free out of this place. We know it's gonna happen. We just don't know when. Right? Like he says, it's gonna come in like a thief of the night, man.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know when it's gonna happen, but we pray that it happens. We just, Lord willing, because ain't y'all tired of oppression? I'm tired of oppression, man. I'm tired of my long days, long nights, and no sleep. You know what I mean? Because the so-called white man want to put his foot on our neck every single day, man. Whether it's with child support, whether it's with child support, whether it's with the abortion clinics, man, whether it's with telling our women that they don't need us. You know what I mean? Whether it's giving them welfare if we're not in the house. You know what I mean? Food stamps. No matter what it is, man, we're tired of this oppression here in America, man. We're tired of this oppression here in America. Are you ready? You ready to get into this?
Come on.
Let's go ahead and get into this lesson, man. Let me get Deuteronomy 25.
Come on.
Deuteronomy 25, man. Right, Deuteronomy 25, because now we're finna get into some actual crimes of what happened with the so-called white man and us, how they did us back in the ancient days when we was running from Egypt. Right, when we was leaving Egypt, man, at the time that they could have been a brother to us, because remember last week that we told that the white man is supposed to be our brother, right? But just like Cain and Abel, the white man has a spirit of Cain. He wants to murder blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Just like Esau wanted to kill Jacob, that's how they want to do us, man. Why? Because that's the only thing they know is murder, robbing, raping. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that they know. Go ahead.
Come on.
Like a good criminal. All a good criminal knows how to do is scam and criminalize.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Come on. Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 17. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way.
Right. He said, remember what Amalek did to you. I know black men, Hispanic man, Native American man, you don't remember way back in those times, but that's why that's why the things that are written for our learning, so we can go back and learn what happened, right? And so the Most High says, remember that thing there. I know the everybody else tells you, oh, slavery was a long time ago. Forget about slavery. No, the Most High says, remember it. Remember what happened to you. And the Most High remembers it. The Most High remembers everything that happens. He's not letting nothing slide about his children, man. Go ahead.
Come. When ye were come forth out of Egypt.
Right. When you came out of Egypt, man, remember what happened, man. Remember how all the other nations turned their back on you, man. Remember that. And remember what Amalek did. It's about to go into what Amalek did. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 18. How he met thee by the way and smote the hindmost of thee.
Stop. So the hindmost of thee, right? So when you're caravanning or you're driving, you're going somewhere, traveling somewhere on foot, right?
Right.
What's in the back?
The hindmost.
Yeah, but what's in the back? The hindmost.
Usually is the slowest one.
It's the what?
The slowest one.
But who are that? Who is that?
Older people. People that are weaker or sicker.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Typically.
But who else? There's more. To be able to make babies, what do men need?
They need women.
Okay, so what's in the back?
The women.
All right, and who travels with the women?
The children.
The children. Okay, so it's the old people, the sick people, the women, and the children. Mm-hmm. Now read that part over again.
Come. Verse 18. So the whole thing?
Yeah.
Come. Verse 17. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way.
Right.
When ye were come forth out of Egypt.
Right.
How he met thee by the way and smote the hindmost of thee. So
while we were traveling, right, trying to find somewhere to go, running from the Egyptians, he came from behind us and killed the old people, mm-hmm. the sick people, the children, and the women. So how come he didn't? So how come he didn't fight us head up in the front?
Right.
Because that's where the warriors dwell.
Mm-hmm.
Just like now, he doesn't want to come against the warriors. He wants to go and tell the women, oh, you don't need that. You don't need that black man. You know what I mean? He's trying to separate the family by going for the weaker vessel. because if he comes to the brother gonna shoo him away. They're like, man, look, you need to get away from here with all that.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about you don't need me, you know what I mean? So now, and then the women being beguiled like Eve, they believe that thing there. They believe that thing there. How many rap songs? I'm an independent woman, right? How many women out here? I don't need no man. I don't need no man, except for to have a baby. And then they wonder why the kids are so tore up. Mm-hmm. It's a plot. It's a plot to break up the black family, man. To have the brothers not having nothing to protect, and then the women needing protection, but then they're both separated from each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's all a plot. It's nothing that just happened. It was a plot that happened for that. It was a plot that happened. Keep going.
Come. Even all that were feeble behind thee.
Right. What does the word feeble mean?
Feeble means weak.
Right. So all the weak that were in the back. Right. Go ahead.
When thou wast faint and weary.
Right. Especially at the time when we were faint and weary, man. At the time we were running through the wilderness, trying to become we were already a nation, but we were trying to become a strong nation. Right. So we were running through the wilderness. We were trying to get our ish right. You know what I mean? Where we was training and all this extra going through the motions of trying to become a strong nation. Keep going.
Come on. And he feared not Yahweh.
Right. And they feared not God. They didn't fear the Most High. They didn't fear the Most High. Right? They didn't fear the Most High, because if they feared the Most High, they would have been like, you know what? We're gonna help Israel. Just like now. They know who we are. They know who the Black, Hispanic, and Native people descend from. They know we descend from God's chosen people. But will they help us? No. They won't help us. Why won't they help us? Because they fear not what?
Because they fear not God.
They don't fear the Most High. They don't fear the Most High. So that's why they won't help us. You know what I mean? Because if they did fear the Most High, they would be like, oh man, whatever they want, okay, give it to them. You know what I'm talking about? Because we heard about Egypt, and we heard about how the Most High destroyed Egypt for these people. You know what I'm talking about? So if they want it, they can have it. That's it. That's the end of the question. But no, they don't do that. Instead they try to break up our families. They put drugs in our community. They lynch us. They murder us on video camera, and then they make the people that killed us not guilty. Go ahead.
I was just adding to what you're saying about, trying to describe what we're looking at here. So you have a caravan, and you have a long line of people walking together, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the ones in the back are the ones that are the weakest. When you look at a wolf pack, the alpha wolf is actually the one that hangs out in the last. There's a lot of strong ones in the front, but the alpha wolf hangs out in the back so that he can keep watch over the slowest and the oldest ones to make sure they don't get taken away or falling behind or lost or something like that, which is a sign of brotherhood even amongst wolves that do that, and that's just the animal.
Right.
We should have more brotherhood than that. We should be able to, in a situation like that, be willing to help those that are feeble, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. I'm just saying it could prevent, like in the future, when we look at example like this, scripture says that things written aforetime are written for our learning. We could learn from that mistake to make sure that nothing like that ever happens again.
Hey, Most High
if we find ourselves in that similar situation.
Hey, Most High in Christ. You damn right. You damn right. All right, Most High in Christ. Let me get Babylon to Timbuktu, man.
All right.
I think it's page 84.
84?
Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84.
Come on. I got it. You talking about this highlighted part?
Yeah. Now this is a record of what happened during the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD. Right? This is a brief statement of what happened, but this is to show you about more crimes of the so-called white man. Go ahead.
Come on. This is Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84. All these factors were operating and gave rise to the African Jewish population.
Right.
In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem.
Right. So that's so. Salakia. So in 65 BC, right, is when Rome captured Jerusalem. They captured Judea, right? And then Christ was born about 60 years later. Right, Christ was born about 60 years later, and then that's when that time of Pontius Pilate and the military governors was around, right? With the governors over Israel was there. Go ahead.
Khan. In 70 A.D., General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state.
Right, so it only took 100 years to put it into the Jewish state. They came in and conquered us in 65 BC. Right, and then in 70 AD, that's when they came and it was like, you know what, we're not dealing with y'all no more, and they came and put an end to it, an end to Jerusalem. Go ahead.
With great slaughter.
With what?
With great slaughter. During the pyramid.
Go back with great what?
During the period of the military governors of Palestine.
With great slaughter, right?
Okay.
Go back to that part.
General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter.
With great murder, man.
Right.
With great murder. That's what the slaughtering talking about, with great murder. We got some more articles about slaughter. Go ahead.
During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people.
Right. So a lot of atrocities was committed against the residue of the people. Keep going.
During the period from Pompey to Julius,
right,
it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa.
How many Jews fled in Africa?
1 million Jews fled into Africa. So
is that 1 million Jews fled in Africa because we was running from Roman persecution, because they were murdering us and they were killing us by the hundreds of thousands. Keep going.
Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery.
Right.
The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
Say that one more time.
The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
Right. They were full of black Jewish slaves. So what are they talking about that these Jews in Israel right now, and they're so-called white? If the slave markets were filled with black Jewish slaves, they never been slaves. They were in concentration camps, yeah, but they weren't slaves, right. And it wasn't, and like they said, it was over 3,000 or 3 million or something like that.
6 million, something like
6
that.
million Jews. You know what I mean? They already said that was a farce. Other white groups came out and said they're lying about that number. Yeah. It couldn't have been that many of them. It's not even that many of them now. you know what I mean? So it couldn't have been that many of them. But even to give that number, right? We're gonna say 3 million Jews during 6 million Jews during the Holocaust, right? What about your 99 million black people that was lost in the over in the middle voyage, man, from during the slavery times and the transatlantic slave trade? What about the 77 million Native Americans that were murdered here and their land taken? Right? What about the 200 million so-called Hispanic tribes, right? What about them, man? Those numbers aren't nothing compared to the numbers that happened to us, man, to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. But everybody wants to sweep that under the rug and wants us to forget about it. But they won't forget about those. They won't forget about those so-called Jewish, those white Jews. Go ahead.
Just looking at the numbers here, we're looking at about over a span of 100 years, 1 million black Jews, basically, right, from the tribe of Judah and Benjamin and some of Levi that are going into Africa, that are there until approximately what time the slave trade started?
1619.
So you're talking about over 1,500 years of us multiplying in that area,
right? And
this is how you come up with those numbers of people that were rounded up and put into slavery. You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about 99 million Negroes, and during the slave time, during the transatlantic slave trade,
right,
there was a lot of people in Africa that were Jews at that point that they started slavery because we had been building societies in Africa.
Let me see this.
I'm just looking at the numbers, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just talking about. That's a lot here.
And I have an answer to your question. Boom, right here. There you go. Read that for the people.
All right. This is page 90.
I got an answer for you.
It says the black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes.
Right.
They carried their culture.
We did what?
They carried their culture.
We carried the Bible, man. Because that's our culture, man. It's the Bible. we look in the Bible, we find our culture, man, our heritage. Keep going.
History.
Right, the history of our people. Right, go ahead.
Laws.
The laws that our people kept, which is the Most High's laws, which is found in the Bible. Go ahead.
And written records with them.
And our written records with them. That means all the stories of the brothers and sisters that's in the Bible. Keep going.
Okay. This assured them a constant precedent for the development of a higher social organization.
Of a what? A higher social organism.
That's
right? A higher social organism. Right? So Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man, if y'all want to become a higher state of people in society right now, man, we will all come together under our culture, under our history, man. Go ahead.
Okay. Because of the stability of the Black Jewish culture.
The what?
Because of the stability of the Black Jewish culture.
Man, the Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to be stable amongst these other nations, man. To be greater than these other nations, because these other nations don't have what we have, man. Go ahead.
The Jews were not absorbed into the autochthonous population.
We wasn't making covenants with our enemies, man. We wasn't over here trying to vote for oppressors, man. We wasn't over here trying to have sex with our oppressors, man. We wasn't doing none of that. What we were doing, we were staying be ye separate. That's what we were doing. We were be ye separate. We were separating from all of our enemies in the same land as our enemies, but we were living separate, man. Go ahead.
Okay. In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes.
Right. As a matter of fact, they want to be like us. They want to be with us because they knew who we were and they knew how great we were, man. Go ahead.
The Jews made use of every opportunity.
They did what?
They made use of every opportunity.
No, man, they just sat there and smoked weed all day, man.
They made use of every opportunity.
No, they was on videos twerking all day, man.
They made use of every opportunity.
We made use of every opportunity, man. I mean, we were putting in work. Go ahead.
They were an industrious and skillful people.
We were an industrious and skillful people. No, man, everybody rapped.
They were an industrious and skillful people.
No, man, everybody worked from home on the computer.
An industrious and skillful people.
No, man, everybody just sold drugs and robbed their brothers.
They were an industrious and skillful people.
No, man, we had our own nation inside of a different nation, man. Same thing we should be doing here in America, man. We were doing back then before slavery, man. Go ahead.
In the Jewish Ghanaian states were found kings.
It was found what?
Ghanaian.
No, it was found what?
There were found kings,
rulers,
princes,
and predecessors for those rulers,
governors.
Somebody to help keep order amongst the people. Go ahead.
Generals,
somebody that was ready for warfare, that taught the army how to war, man. Go ahead.
Secretaries,
right? People that keep the records and things in order. Go ahead.
Treasurers.
The treasurer is somebody to deal with the money system. Go ahead.
Revenue agents.
Somebody to collect the tax for the people. So when something did happen, we had funds that can help everybody at one set in time, right? Go ahead.
Judges.
We had judges, people to judge matters in criminal cases, civil cases, or whatever they needed to judge matters upon. Brotherhood cases, whatever. Go ahead. Architects, people that build things, man. Go ahead.
Engineers,
people that help me with engineers. People that also build things, but build things like industrialized things. Go ahead.
Doctors.
We had doctors, people that dealt with medicine. Go ahead.
Historians.
We had historians, people that dealt with history, with our history, everybody else's history, to understand what the whole world. Go ahead, or the whole earth. Let's say that, not world. Go ahead.
Language interpreters.
Right, people that talk to other different languages, that talk to other languages, because we were speaking Hebrew. But what about the people that were speaking the Metonnet or whatever, that spoke all the African dialect?
Right.
We needed to communicate with neighbors that lived around us. Right, so we have people for that. Go ahead.
Mathematicians.
We have people that dealt with mathematicians. We had people like our own Galileos and things like that. You know what I mean? We had mathematicians, man. Go ahead.
Jewelers.
We had our own places where we can go get diamonds and gold and things like that. Keep going.
Sculptors.
We had people that were dealing in making statues for us, man. Go ahead.
Masons.
Masons, people that were also dealing with building things, more that also dealt with building things, things like build bigger structures, right? Go ahead.
Carpenters.
We had carpenters, things that was also more building things. You know what I'm talking about? More building things. Go ahead.
Painters of art.
Right. We had artists. You know what I mean? They say the greatest artists lived in what was it called in the Renaissance era.
Right.
But that's a lie. That's just because white people want you to believe that they're the greatest in everything, but they're not. Go ahead.
Come on. Goldsmiths.
We had goldsmiths, right? We had people that was dealing with like we were saying, jewelry, right? But there's other things that are made from gold that's not just jewelry. All right, go ahead.
Leather workers,
you know what I mean? So we had things that were like with leather jackets, leather fringes. We had gauntlets, gauntlets. You know, we had things that were made from leather. Go ahead. Potters. You know what I mean? So we had people that was making pottery. Right. Go ahead.
Armorers.
We had people that was dealing in armor for warfare. Go ahead.
Sattlers.
I don't know what those are. I don't know what sattlers are. I have an idea, but keep going. Blacksmiths. We had people that was dealing with swords. You know what I mean? We're dealing with swords and what do we used to use? Slingshots, spears, shields. Go ahead.
Come on. Agriculturists,
people that were growing food from the ground, corn, and things like that. Corn, tomatoes. You know what I mean? Things like that. Go ahead. Carrots.
Come on, God. It says, etc. That's it.
And it said we had everything to make us a skillful nation, man.
That's right.
Everything to make us a skillful nation, and we was doing that inside of somebody else's land. You know what I mean? We had our own land inside of somebody else's land. Was that it on that?
Come on, sir.
Here, get that. Let's get the article.
So we're talking about the siege of Jerusalem?
Uh-huh.
This is an article about the siege of Jerusalem. The siege of Jerusalem in the year 70 CE was the decisive event of the First Jewish-Roman War.
Right.
In which the Roman army captured the city of Jerusalem and destroyed both the city and its temple.
Right.
The Roman army led by the...
Wait. To destroy his temple, that's a crime against God, man.
That's right.
To destroy the temple of God is a crime against the Most High, man. Go ahead.
The Roman army led by the future Emperor Titus, with Tiberius Julius Alexander as his second in command, besieged and conquered the city of Jerusalem.
Right.
Which had been controlled by Judean rebel factions since 66 CE.
Right, like the Pharisees and Sadducees, the Zealots, right? So it was controlled by the different factions of Israelites. Go ahead.
Following the Jerusalem riots of 66, when the Judean provisional government was formed in Jerusalem.
Right, because at one point in time, the Romans, like when Christ was there, right, when Christ was talking in Judea, right, the Romans was ruling over them. But then in 66 AD, the Jews, they revolted and they had a riot there, and all the Romans fled. And they was able to hold everything. They was able to hold everything down until 70 AD.
Was it like 4 years?
Yeah.
Riot was in 66.
Right. In 4 years, that whole 4 years they were preparing for war, man. I'm gonna send you that article I was reading on that.
Oh God.
On the whole war of 70 AD. Because it wasn't like they just came through and took us out, man. We were battling for a little bit.
Did you want me to start? Because it has some stuff here. Did you want me to start here or the paragraph afterwards?
Yeah, start the paragraph right there where it says, according to Josephus.
According to Josephus, 1.1 million non-combatants died in Jerusalem.
Stop. So that's not the warriors. That's not the people. That's not the soldiers that were battling the Roman army. It says non-combatants. Those are just women, children, and people brothers that not in the army. That's how many people died. 1.1 million of civilians, regular people, just like in 9/11, right? When they came, when they hit those towers, right? And America bombed Iraq for 24 hours straight, killing men, women, and children. Right, that's the same thing. They did back then with Jerusalem. They killed men, women, and children. You ready? Keep going.
Come on. It says mainly as a result of the violence and famine.
Right.
But this number exceeds the entire pre-siege population of Jerusalem.
Right. Go ahead.
Many of the casualties were observant Jews from across the world, such as Babylon and Egypt, who had traveled to Jerusalem wanting to celebrate the yearly Passover, but instead got trapped in the chaotic siege.
Right, because when they attacked was at Passover time, and that was a commandment for all the Israelites that live everywhere else to come back to Jerusalem for Passover, and that's when the devil attacked. Was during Passover. That's when the devil attack was during Passover, during our high holy days, man. Keep going.
Come on. But instead got trapped in the chaotic siege. He also writes that 97,000 were enslaved. In the book Matthew White, The Great Big Book of Horrible Things, estimates the combined death toll for the First and Third Roman Jewish wars was approximately 350,000.
Right, so not only the 100 million people that died was that
1.1 slide.
Oh, the 1.1 million people that died. Right, not only 1.1 million civilians that died, men, women, and children, also 350,000 soldiers died also. And then that's it on that.
Come on.
That's on that. We can go back to the scriptures now. We can go back to the scriptures where we at. Let's go to Ezekiel 25 and 12.
Okay.
Ezekiel 25. You're gonna need this some more, man. We got more articles on.
Yeah, I got. Oh, okay. So I had the bookmark.
Yeah, we got more articles.
Ezekiel 25.
Which one do I want next? Which one do I want? I want Wounded Knee. Yeah.
You ever seen
There's a movie?
Con Air?
Nah.
No,
I don't think I ever seen Con Air.
If Dave Chappelle in that movie.
Is that when it was on the?
It was on that plane, yeah. It was convicts on the plane.
Convicts on the plane, yeah. And then they said, just John Travolta.
Yeah, and then he had done something to hurt some Native American brother, and then Dave Chappelle's like, "Don't you get all Wounded Knee on me now."
That's childish.
It's tripping. It's like we got Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
Prophecy against Edom, verse 12. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh.
Right.
Because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance.
Start that over again.
Because
I want everybody to understand who's saying this. It's not just us, man. It's not just us saying this, right? It's not blacks, Hispanics, and they just like, you know what? The Lord is going to deal with you. No. Who's saying this? Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord Yahweh.
The Lord God, the Lord Power Yahweh is saying this. We're not saying this. The Lord Power Yahweh is saying this. Keep going.
Because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance.
Right, because he has dealt with the house of Judah by taking vengeance. You know what I'm talking about? He took vengeance into his own hands, man. So that old little discrepancy that happened back in the old times with Jacob and Esau, the Edomites are playing that out right now with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. That's what they're doing. They're playing that out right now with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Go ahead.
And hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them.
They did what?
And hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them.
Right, they greatly offended and read that part one more time.
Okay. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh.
Right, the Lord is saying this, man.
Because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance.
Right, because Edom has dealt with against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, man. They took vengeance upon us, man. They murdered us, man. And many times over, man. And there's been murder after murder after murder after murder. And not just old times, man. And nowadays also.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays also with their abortion clinics, man, they put drugs in our neighborhood. They're doing all these different things to keep us in sin, to keep us third and fourth and fifth class citizens, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing, man. They're separating families at the border, man. They're doing all these wicked things in South Dakota, the South Dakota pipeline, right? The Native Americans' land that they were living on, just because they want to put a pipeline there, right? A natural gas pipeline, right? They want to put the natural gas pipeline there in South Dakota, man. They went and they removed all of the Native Americans off their land. That's what they did, man. Why? Because they're the devil that the Bible speaks about, man.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them.
Right, because they're greatly offended and revenged themselves upon us, man. They revenge. They're trying to pay the Most High back for the Most High not choosing him, not choosing them as his people. But the Most High knows what he's doing. The Most High chose us as his people. Right? Is there any more on
that? Verse 13.
There's more?
Colonel Khan.
Go ahead, sir.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh.
Right.
I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom.
Right. He's going to do what?
Stretch out my hand upon Edom.
He's going to stretch out his hand upon the so-called white man. Go ahead.
And will cut off man and beast from it.
Right. He's going to cut off man and beast from it. He's going to cut off the remnant. He's going to cut them off from being a nation. Like he did it. Like, give me Psalms 83, man.
Come on.
Yeah, give me Psalms 83. Give me Psalms 83. Because they also led all the other nations in cutting Israel off from being a nation. They led that there. They led that thing there. You know what I mean? They led that thing there. There's going to be a whole bunch of nations that were confederate against us. They came together against the nation of Israel. And Esau, the Edomites, the so-called white man, led that, man. Just like they do now. Just like they do now. If they want to, if another nation wants to come in here and be great, what they do, they bring them in here. They give them what do you call it? They give them like stipends or business grants, and then they let them open up businesses in our neighborhoods, man. And then but they don't live in our neighborhoods. They build they get money from us and all that. They put businesses in our neighborhood, get money from us and all that, and they take it back to their community, man. And they build up Chinatown, and they build up Koreantown, and they build up Little Haiti, or what not Little Haiti, what's it called? Little African towns. They built those up, man. They got Little Italy. They got everything else around here, man. But they don't like if you go to the other side of town, like by Medical Center,
right? They
have like restaurants written in Arabic, man.
The fuck?
You know what I mean? I thought this was America, but they have whole sides of town with restaurants written in Arabic and Chinese. You know what I mean? Because they don't vote. Because they don't vote is the reason why they're able to get that. And because you vote, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, is the reason why they don't respect you and they murder you down in the streets. You got that for me?
Come. We in Psalm chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
It says, keep not thou what?
Silence, O Yahweh.
Right, keep going.
Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh.
Right.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
The what?
Thine enemies make a tumult.
Yeah, there's enemies against the Most High. The Most High does not love everybody. The Most High does not love everybody. Why does the Christian church think that the Most High loves everybody when the Bible always says that the Most High has enemies, man?
That's right.
Go ahead.
And they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
Right. These people hate the Most High. And now they lifted up their head, man. Now they like, now we're going to pay the Most High back. And how they going to pay the Most High back, man? By murdering his children, man. Go ahead.
Con. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They do what?
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have, they have think tanks, man, that old white men sit in, and they think about how they can further destroy the children of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do, man. They have think tanks, and they sit there and think of ways to destroy us, man. Whether it be with abortion clinics, whether it be with putting drugs in our neighborhood, whether it is with dropping off a whole bunch of guns to a whole bunch of low poverty neighborhoods, man. That's what they do, man. And they know wherever there's poverty at, there's violence. Go ahead.
Con. And it consulted against thy hidden ones.
Right. They consulted against us, man. We know why they call us hidden ones? Mm-hmm. Because they don't know, because they're trying to hide it from us that we're the children of Israel, man.
That's right.
They're trying to hide it from us. But why are they trying to hide it from us? It shouldn't be no big deal to know that we are the Lord's chosen people. Right? Go ahead.
Con. Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Right. They say, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. And that's why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans right now do not know that we are one nation and we must stand together. Right now, that is why black, Hispanic, and Native Americans have problems with each other. To where it's now a full-out war in California with Hispanics and with Hispanics and black people, man. It's a full-out war out there now, California, because they're murdering each other, man. But they are really one nation. Keep going.
Con. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
The name of what?
Name
Yasharallah.
The name of Yasharallah may be no more in remembrance.
The name of Yasharallah may be no more in remembrance, man. Prince of the power, man. That we might not know that we're a nation anymore, man. That's why we're black. That's why we call ourselves black or African American.
Right.
That's why the Mexican, our I.S.U.P.K brothers call themselves Mexicans. That's why they call themselves Cubans and Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans and Haitians and Dominicans and Venezuelans. Because Israelites the nation of Israel has been cut off. The word nation of Israel, they have conceded they have made themselves confederate against the Most High, that the prince of the power are no longer around. You know what I mean? Because if we knew that we were all one nation, we'd be more reluctant to stand together. I mean, we'd be more reluctant to kill each other, and better yet, we'll stand together more. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Con. It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yasharallah may be no more in remembrance.
Right.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
Did what?
They have consulted together with one consent.
Right. They have consulted together against one consent. With one consent. If they don't come together for anything else, they do come together to be wicked against the children of Israel, against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. They do come together for that, man. Go ahead.
They are confederate against thee. Verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom.
The what?
The tabernacles of Edom.
There it is, the so-called white man. But not only the white man, go ahead.
The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites. They go to Arabs right there. The white people and the Ishmaelites, right? And the Arabs. Go ahead.
Of Moab and the Hagarenes.
Right. Moab, that's the Asians. Go ahead. Or Moab is the Chinese. Go ahead.
Gebal and Ammon.
Right.
And Amalek.
Gebal and Ammon. Ammon is the Japanese, and then Amalek is another sect of Edomites. Go ahead.
The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Is that the Philistines? That's more Arabs. With who?
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Tyre.
Salaki, Tyre.
Right, because
that sounds too black. Salaki.
They're African nations.
Tyre.
Yeah.
Salaki.
When we say Tyre in black, as being black, we believe that we're Africans. You know what I mean? That's why we call ourselves African Americans. You know what I mean? So of course we try to give ourselves African names instead of calling ourselves by our Hebrew names. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 8. Assyria also is joined with them.
Right. There's more Arabs. Go ahead.
They have helped the children of Lot.
Right. The children of Lot are Ammon and Moab. Those are Chinese and Japanese. Go ahead.
That's the end of that.
That's the end of that.
Come on, it just keeps going.
All right, go ahead. Let me get Amos chapter 1, verse 11.
Come
Man, I gotta use the restroom. You want to say something cool? Say something cool real quick.
You want me to be on the mic or live?
Go ahead. Be on the mic. Go ahead. It don't matter.
You know, Salakia, if I could, just real quick, when we going over Psalm chapter 83, that's a very heavy scripture to go over, because not only was this something that was prophesying what their intentions were, we're now looking at it hundreds of years, thousands of years later, and we're having to see the result of that confederacy against Israel. We're having to deal with the fact that they've hid our history from the record books that they show us when we were growing up in school. We have to go and dig for these things and find alternative sources to actually get artifacts, to actually get knowledge of different perspectives of history to help fill in the gaps. It's like we have to earn our history back, because they have said, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And they are confederate against the Most High. They said that they are confederate against God. Okay, God created an antagonist for the planet that would be such an antagonist that it would be against himself. You understand that? You understand how that is to create that? To know that that was going to be the antagonist that his chosen seed would have to overcome? All the obstacles they put in our way to keep us on drugs, to keep us from knowing who we are and coming back to our culture that makes us strong, that makes us leaders, that allows us to earn the right to run this planet. And this is what they want, because the more that we stay ignorant to what we are supposed to be doing on this earth, the more that their kingdom continues to grow. And it's at a boiling point right now, because you're starting to see it collapse. And part of the reason why it's collapsing is because the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is reversing their confederacy, is exposing their history.
Right.
That's why this was written 4 times, so that we could see this history and say, oh, look, this is our book. This is something that they deliberately tried to lie to us about, from beating us with Catholicism, with beating us with, Roman influence and Greek influence and Babylonian influences that they have tried to merge with our culture, to try to deceive us, to try to entice us to continue in their version of history, so that their norm becomes the norm.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna say. Let me just put that.
Most Iron Christ, dog. Thanks for holding it down.
Thank you for holding it down. I've been out for a little bit.
No sweat, man. That's all. That's brotherhood. That is brotherhood. Let's go to Amos 1 and 11.
Okay.
Go to Amos 1 and 11. It's not just Amalek.
I'm always kind of hard to find Amos. It's a short book, tomorrow.
Yeah, it is only 3 chapters.
76.
What's in my beard, though, water?
Right after Joel. All right, I got it. Amos chapter 1, verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom.
Right. Who's saying this? Go back, man. Because it's wild to me how many times the Lord be like, look, I'm saying this. Like, it's like he's jumping in like, wait. I'm saying this. Like, you know what I mean? That's what it's like. That's what he's saying. Like, I'm saying this. Don't put this blame on nobody else but me. You know what I'm talking about? So when you say something about the so-called white man, tell them I'm saying it. You know what I'm talking about? Like that's what it sounds like, right? That's like when you say something about Ammon, or I mean when you say something about Esau and about how he's going to be destroyed, thus saith the Lord. Tell him I'm saying it. Tell him I'm saying it. All right, go ahead, go. Like he's watching, like yeah, that's what it. Yeah, you know what I mean. That's how it's like. That's what it's like. Go ahead.
What I love about our book is that because it's prophetic and it keeps our records and it keeps our history, we're reading this, and it's something that's written so long ago. But again, it's referring to the future, and it's the same thing as like what he's about to say is kind of like, you know, when somebody reads the sentence, the defendant is guilty of these crimes. Blah 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 blah. And look, this is what we're about to read. We're about to read the sentence that he said he was going to punish them for.
Right.
Thus said the Most High. This is what he says.
Right.
And nothing to do with what we think.
Right. The judge of all judges.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about? The judge of all judges, man. The Lord is saying this, like, yes, man.
That's right.
Man, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I'm an Israelite.
Right.
You know, so I'm happy I'm an Israelite, man, because like, see, we could do things to get out of our punishment of the Most High. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we have promises to get in the kingdom of heaven. You know what I mean? But like our punishment can't be forever if we trying to. That's why we're trying to teach the blacks, all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that they're Israelites. We're trying to bring back a nation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we can get out of these curses. Well, I don't think there's nothing that the so-called white man can do to get out of his judgment. He can kiss boots, but I don't think he's kissing everybody's boots. I think he's still going to suffer those judgments from the Lord, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
He just making it not as hard on himself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the more I read about it, I'll be like, yikes. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's crazy because when it says that Edom will be cut off right, forever, even those that kiss the boots of the prophets are going to be extinct,
right?
At some point, after their term,
right? After
their punishment is over, and they have nobody to blame but themselves,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So that's just how the Most High sees it, and so that's how it's going to be. It's a lot, kid. But I got that precept. I just
shake my head like yikes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like yikes. You feel me? But that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to do that. They wanted to murder blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Keep going.
Come on. Amos chapter 1, verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
Ooh. He's not going to turn away the punishment. They can't escape the judgment that's coming. They
right.
can't escape the punishment that's coming from the Lord. You can't escape that. There's no way you could. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, nowhere you can go to escape the judgment of the Most High. That's probably why they be trying to go to Mars or something. You know, maybe the Most High ain't there. No, the Most High he's gonna see you there too. He's seeing you everywhere you want to go. Everywhere you want to go, the Most High is gonna see you there too. He's gonna put that judgment there too, just for you. Go ahead.
Come. I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword.
He did what?
He did pursue his brother with the sword.
Man, he pursued his brother with the M16 rifle, with a 9mm. Mm-hmm. He pursued his brother with the abortion clinics, drugs. He pursued his brother with fentanyl, crack, heroin, PCP. You know what I'm talking about? Atomic bombs, grenades, like they dropped out of planes in Black Wall Street. Mm-hmm. Black Wall Street, they dropped grenades out of planes. You know what I mean? Nooses. You feel me? What else they got? Military grade AR-15s, assault rifles, AK-47s, man, tanks, however they used to oppress the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Go ahead.
And did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
Wait. Go back to and did cast off.
And did cast off all pity.
At a time where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans deserved pity from the so-called white man, he did what?
Did cast off all pity.
He cast that away. He was like, man, hey, I know right now I should be being more brotherly to you, but F that. And put his knee on his neck. At the time where George Floyd called out for his mama, right? That's when the devil started pressing down harder on his neck, man. Keep going, man.
And his anger did tear perpetually.
Perpetually. Give me that definition. Perpetually. Because that's not a word that we use every day. That's not a word that we use every day, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So what does perpetually mean?
Perpetually, in a way that never ends or changes.
Ooh, it's a never-ending anger. So he had an anger forever, a never-ending anger towards his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's read that part again. Ooh.
And his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
He kept his wrath for when?
Forever.
You know how long forever is?
Forever.
forever. So he kept his anger forever and his wrath forever. Forever. That's how long the white man has been hating you, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. Is there more on that?
That's it. That's into that.
You don't think there's more on that because now it's going to go into Ammon and Moab, right?
Mm-hmm. Start talking about T-Man and Bozrah and all that.
Oh yeah, Go ahead. Give me that.
Verse 12. But I will send a fire upon Teman.
Right, Teman is the so-called German man. The so-called German white man is Teman, man. Teman is like the scientists, the smart ones. You ever seen Captain America?
Yeah.
You know the one that made the serum for him to drink to make him super?
It was German?
Yes, he was German.
Oh yeah, and then the one that it's all goofy, but you know what I'm saying. I see what you're talking about. Yeah, they had a lot of German stuff going on.
Yeah, he was German. So look out for these movies, man, because these movies be putting the truth inside of the movie because they know the truth. And you know what else? The German also was the one to make the nuclear bomb.
It's true.
He was the first one to make the nuclear bomb. America just took that design and made a nuclear bomb, but German was the first one to make a nuclear bomb.
Crazy, man.
Right, so German is the smart ones, the scientists, man. Keep going.
Haran, which shall devour the palaces of Bozrah.
Right, and Bozrah is where is like a capital city in Edom. Go ahead. Verse
13. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgression of the children of Ammon.
All right, now we good on that.
All right,
we go to that season because now it's going into the children of Ammon, and then it's going to be Moab. Give me Obadiah 1 and 18.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on.
What we missing?
We got articles. My bad. My bad.
It's all good.
My bad. Here, give me Wounded Knee. Give me Wounded Knee. We're gonna talk about Wounded Knee, and how they did the Native Americans and the so-called Native Americans and Wounded Knee.
The Wounded Knee Massacre, also known as the Battle of Wounded Knee,
right,
was a massacre of nearly 300 Lakota people by soldiers of the United States Army.
Right.
It occurred on December 29th, 1890, near Wounded Knee Creek on the Lakota Pine Bridge Indian Reservation in the U.S. state of South Dakota.
Right. Remember I was telling you about South Dakota earlier, how they put the pipeline through there? You know what I'm talking about? They've been killing them off and being evil to them since before that, hundreds of years ago. Go ahead.
And people of our nation want to join their military?
Yes, they do.
Never forget Wounded Knee. This was only 130 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't even that long ago. That's not that long ago when you think about it. That's just a couple generations, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely right.
Following a botched attempt to disarm the Lakota camp. Following a botched attempt to disarm the Lakota camp.
So what they did was the so-called the so-called white man, right? His armies went in there and tried to take all the weapons and things away from the it says Lakota camp, the Lakota, right? Lakota,
Right.
right? The Lakota Indians, but they're Lakota Indians, but they're the tribe that was under it was a Lakota nation of Indians. So they have different tribes in there, and the tribe that was being murdered, and it was the Sioux Indians, Souix. It's the Sioux Indians, but they tried to come and take all of their weapons away from them, their guns, their what do you call the hatchet?
Tomahawks.
The tomahawks. There we go. The tomahawks, the bow and arrows. They tried to take all the weapons away from the so-called Native Americans, so-called Sioux Indians. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to add something, because what we just read multiple times is how Esau goes for the weak.
Yeah.
Goes for the ones that can't fight back. Like, he's gotten so much weaker as he's going on. He can't even try to fight a fair fight
at all.
He want to take your bow and arrow, but he got a gun.
Right. And
you know what I'm saying? He got a gunpowder rifle.
Right. And I brought out at camp a couple weeks ago that what is his name? Theodore Roosevelt. Mm-hmm. He was one of the Rough Riders. Yeah. And the Rough Riders used to go out and the Rough Riders used to go out and hunt Native American tribes, right? But they couldn't. They do every time they go out and hunt Native American tribes, they had to get a big mass group of people to go out to hunt a Native American tribes, because Native Americans wasn't laying down their weapons. They weren't no punks. You know what I'm talking about? That's why it took them so long to conquer the so-called Native Americans, because Native Americans when they ain't no punks. That's why I say Gad is my troop in the Bible. Yeah. Because Native Americans ain't no punks. Mm-hmm. They ain't nowhere near that. There ain't nowhere near that. And like now when I look at the reservation videos and stuff like that, I see the Native American brothers so like downbeaten, still so downtrodden, like they just feel like they have no hope. You know what I mean? And it makes me sad. Cause I'd be like, y'all don't understand your own history then, because y'all like they give me hope. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Watching those old videos about Geronimo gives me hope. You feel me? Like you're gonna see we're gonna read about Black Coyote. That's my guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where these movies? We need more movies like this.
I'm trying to tell you, let me direct it. You know, so Black Coyote. Yeah. Black Coyote is my guy. I like it. That's my dude right there.
Hell yeah. Okay, there's what's up. Want me to continue?
Yep.
The previous day, a detachment of the U.S. 7th Cavalry Regiment, commanded by Major Samuel Whiteside, approached Spotted Elk's band of Miniconju, Lakota, and 38 Hunkpapa, Lakota, near Porcupine Butte, and escorted them 5 miles westward to Wounded Knee Creek, where they made camp.
Right.
The remainder of the 7th Cavalry Regiment, led by Colonel James Forsyth,
right,
arrived and surrounded the encampment. The regiment was supported by a battery of 4 Hotchkiss mountain guns.
Right. Now let's go to this one right here. Just go down to the next paragraph.
Oh, on the morning of December 29th,
right,
the U.S. cavalry troops went to the camp to disarm the Lakota. One version of events claims that during the process of disarming the Lakota, a deaf tribesman named Black Coyote was reluctant to give up his rifle, claiming he had paid a lot for it. Simultaneously, an old man was performing a ritual called the Ghost Dance.
Hold on right there. Okay, so here's the story about Black Coyote. Black Coyote told him, he said, this rifle is mine. I purchased my rifle, he said, and no one can take it from me without purchasing it. Yeah, that's my guy. He's like, I pay. This is mine. Like, it's mine.
You gonna pay for that?
I paid for my rifle. You can't take it from me unless you want to buy it. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't taking my rifle. You know what I'm talking about? That's my guy right there. I love it. I love that. I love that rebel attitude. La. You know what I'm talking about? It would have been colder if he would have like, la. You ain't taking my rifle. You know what I'm talking about?
He was deaf though. How did he know what was happening? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Oh, he can still see though. He can still see.
I wasn't there. I don't know, but I just know he said, "La, you want to purchase my rifle?" And being deaf don't have to be fully deaf.
Right.
Go ahead.
It says simultaneously, an old man was performing a ritual called the Ghost Dance.
Right.
Black Coyote's rifle went off at that point. The U.S. Army began shooting at the Native Americans. Of course, right?
Good. Keep going.
The Lakota warriors fought back, but many had already been stripped of their guns and disarmed.
God dang! So they waited. So they had to just.
They bitches for that.
They is. But so they took all the guns from the Native Americans, right? And then when the rifle went off, they started shooting at the Native Americans, right? So how they going to shoot? How the Native Americans going to defend themselves if they came and de-armed all of them? But that's what I'm saying. That's the devil that the Bible speak of, man.
Right.
And then now they talking about they won America in war. You didn't win America in war, bro. You won America by taking away the weapons from the so-called Native Americans that wounded knee and then murdering them. Mm-hmm. But keep going on.
Come on. By the time the massacre was over, more than 250 men, women, and children.
Wait, how many?
More than 250 men, women, and children.
Men, women, and what?
And children.
Man, men, women, and children, man. Men, women, and children, just like they did in Jerusalem, man. They killed men, women, and children, man. Go ahead.
Of the Lakota had been killed and 51 were wounded.
Right.
4 men and 47 women and children were wounded. Some of whom died later. Some estimates place the number of dead as high as 300.
Right. Good.
25 soldiers also died, and 39 were wounded. 6 of the wounded later died.
Right. Go ahead.
20 soldiers were awarded the Medal of Honor. In 2001, the National Congress of American Indians passed 2 resolutions condemning the military awards and called on the federal government to rescind them.
No. They didn't. They didn't do that. So these brothers got medal. I mean, these devils got.
Wow.
These devils got medals of honor for murdering 300 men, women, and children. They got medals of honor for murdering 300 men, women, and children. And you think the Most High is okay with that? There's no honor in murdering women and children, man.
Right.
And men that can't defend themselves.
There's
no honor in that, man. Go ahead.
You know how that spirit is still running rampant? Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, man.
Because not only did he get overwhelming support by a bunch of crackers after he had done what he did, he not only got away with it, he gained honor in the community because of it. Had he been a soldier, he would have gotten a medal of some sort. But now he gonna be sitting at the seats with some of the highest ranked Edomites on the planet because of what he did, what he got away with, shooting unarmed people. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you know who else, man? Dylan Ruth Thorne, the one that killed all those black people in that church. You know when he died. I mean when he
is he getting executed or what's?
No, they didn't give him the death penalty. They gave him life in prison though, but they didn't give him the death penalty. But when he did that, what he did in that church, you know, there was a whole bunch of white men and white women that because his bail was set at like $200 million or something like that, which 10% is $2 million, and they raised that $2 million for his bail, but then they denied him bail. But how did he get they raised $2 million for this devil?
Why would they do that? It's like
because when they murder Black, Hispanic, or Native American, they're rewarded for it. They're like that just to show how much white America feels about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that they will put money together to try to get bail money for a murderer, somebody that murdered 9 Black people in the church, and they want to talk about God loves everybody.
That's that perpetual hatred.
That is perpetual hatred. And it's not just perpetrated by the government. It's perpetrated by white men, women, and children everywhere. Hear any more on that? Oh yeah, let's keep going. Oh, nah, there's no more. All right,
Okay.
go back, press back.
Press back.
Yep, press back again. Go to what's it called? James Byrd Jr. The murder of James Byrd Jr.
James Byrd. He lived from 1949 to 1998.
Yeah, so he just died in 1990. This is an account that's more recent. All right, go ahead.
James Byrd was an African American man who was murdered by 3 white supremacists in Jasper, Texas on June 7, 1998. Sean Berry, Lawrence Brewer, and John King dragged him for 3 miles behind a pickup truck along an asphalt road. Byrd, who remained conscious for much of his ordeal, was killed about halfway through the dragging when his body hit the edge of a culvert, severing his right arm and head.
Man. Are you understanding this?
This is like a horror film.
Right yeah, but this was in Jasper, Texas. This is not that far from here. It's about 200 miles.
I was 8 years old.
Yeah, it's about 200 miles. 200 miles west. 200 miles northwest from San Antonio, man. That's what happens, man. That's what happens, man. They drugged this brother for 3 miles behind a pickup truck along an asphalt road, and it said he remained conscious for much of his ordeal. So he was alive. He was alive for much of this, man.
He was 59 years old.
They're not gonna pick on nobody their own age.
Right, that's what I'm saying. 59-year-old man. That's your feeble man right there.
Yeah, that's your feeble man right there, man. They pick on the old and the young, man. They're picking on the young and the old, man. They're not picking on on brothers that can fight back. They pick on the old brothers and the kids and the women, man.
And the cowards, that's why.
Right. Go ahead.
Byrd, who remained conscious for much of his ordeal, was killed about halfway through the dragging when his body hit the edge of a culvert, severing his right arm and head. The murderers drove on for another 1.5 miles before dumping his torso in front of a black church.
Now that's hate, huh? That's hate. They said he dumped his body in front of a black church, man. That's hate, man. That's hate. What the I.S.U.P.K is doing is bringing brothers together, and what the white people are doing that's hate, man. That's hate. That's hate. I don't even want to read no more.
I want to read this.
You want to read it?
Con.
Go ahead.
Brewer and King were the first white men to be sentenced to death for killing a black person in the history of modern Texas. Byrd's lynching by dragging gave impetus to passage of a Texan hate crimes law, which later led to passage by Congress of the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act.
Stop. You know who Matthew Shepard is?
Is that one of the dudes?
No, Matthew Shepard is was a homosexual guy, and he came down here from he was in the College of Wyoming. Sorry, he went to the College of Wyoming, and he came down here, and he was homosexual, and they beat him or something like that.
Oh, was he black?
No, he was a white boy.
Oh,
and they beat him to death for being a homosexual.
Who did?
Some white boys.
Oh, okay.
So they put that with James Byrd as being a hate crime.
I just wanted to see this. I'll read this part right here.
Go ahead.
Brewer was executed by lethal injection for his part in the murder on September 21st, 2011. King was executed by lethal injection at the state penitentiary in Huntsville, Texas on April 24th, 2019.
Right.
Berry was sentenced to life imprisonment and will be eligible for parole in 2038.
Well, they gave him he's able to get released
in 2038.
Well, you got some weed dealers that got life sentences and without the possibility of parole. You telling me this devil helped murder somebody and be able to get off?
Yeah.
The devil, man. All right, now press back again. Press back twice. I know. When I was reading it earlier, I don't even think I got through the full article because I was upset, and at the same time I was looking at the devil like, you know, talk. You feel me?
Oh, you were like at the doc. You might have been at like a appointment. And you reading this article, and you just like,
I just looked up and I was being the devil locked eyes, and I was just looking like, yeah, well, you gonna get yours. You know what I mean? Like,
oh,
you gonna get yours, boy. Quit playing with us, man. That should hurt my heart. Let's go to Rosewood Massacre.
Rosewood Massacre.
Mhm.
Okay. Which one though?
The Rosewood Massacre.
There's two of them.
No, the one that says Rosewood Massacre.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The Rosewood Massacre was a racially motivated massacre of black people and the destruction of a black town that took place during the first week of January 1923 in rural Levy County, Florida. At least 6 black people and 2 white people were killed, though eyewitness accounts suggested a higher death toll of anywhere between 27 to 150. Damn, how do you get that off like that?
Because they always been doctoring up numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Downplaying the murders that they commit. Go ahead.
Okay. The town of Rosewood was destroyed and what contemporary news reports characterized as a race riot. Florida had an especially high number of lynchings and black men in the years before the massacre, including a well-publicized incident in December of 1922.
I was looking everywhere trying to find that incident in 1922. I was trying to find that somewhere. I couldn't find it. Keep going.
It says, before the massacre, the town of Rosewood had been a quiet, primarily black, self-sufficient whistle stop on the Seaboard Airline Railway. Trouble began when white men from several nearby towns lynched a black Rosewood resident because of the accusations that a white woman in nearby Summer had been assaulted by a black drifter. A mob of several hundred whites combed the countryside hunting for black people, and it burned almost every structure in Rosewood. For several days, survivors from the town hid in nearby swamps until they were evacuated to larger towns by train and car.
Right. And I advise everybody to watch this movie, Rosewood. That movie, Rosewood, it's a good movie, and it depicts everything. Like,
I didn't know there was a movie.
Yeah, with Bing Rames and the mom from Good Times. I think her name is Flora. I forgot her real name. Yeah, I advise everybody to watch that movie. That's a very good movie. It's a very good movie. I was saying when I was younger, and I was like, oh, I had to watch it over and over again. And then I didn't even realize it was a real story until I actually, you know what I mean, started reading the history about it. And I said, wow, Rosewood, Florida. You feel me? Like, well, Rosewood, Florida was a flourishing black town. They had a port. You know what I mean? That was one of the only black cities that ever had a port where things can come in off the water and go out off the water. So just like what's it called? Just like Black Wall Street, also Rosewood, Florida was another one of those cities that was destroyed by racist white people.
That's crazy.
Let's go back. Now let's go
continue on that.
No, let's go to the how a lie destroyed a black town.
Okay,
that's what I want. Because of course, a white woman lying and crying that somebody assaulted her, right, led to a whole bunch of black people being destroyed, a whole black city being destroyed, black people being murdered. And really, it was just that white woman that lied because she didn't want to find out that she was a whore, having sex with having a husband and having sex on the side with another man.
All right, this is about that situation, but a little bit more in depth as to how it began, right?
Right. Read the title.
It says the Rosewood Massacre, how a lie destroyed a black town.
Right.
From the bruises on her body, it was clear Fannie Taylor had been beaten. The story she told to explain them away destroyed an all-black town in Florida and got several of its residents murdered. On New Year's Day, 1923, Taylor, then the 22-year-old wife of a mill worker, said a black man had assaulted her. She didn't say rape, only that she'd been assaulted. But the word assault was interpreted as a sexual violation by the whites in her town of Sumner, Florida.
She didn't even say that he raped her. She said that he assaulted her, and they automatically thought rape because to them a black man ain't nothing but a murderer or rapist. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That's all they think that a black man is, but really they're the real murderers and rapists and child molester.
Mm-hmm.
They're the white man is. Go ahead.
Sumner was just a few miles from Rosewood, an all-black town of about 120 that had seen its own version of white flight after industry left Rosewood and whites moved to Sumner. Oh, white flight meaning like white migration out of the city?
Yeah, white flight. White people running away from the city because black people are coming in. You already know, white flight. That's what they call it, white flight.
It's like it. As word of Taylor's claim spread, some black people in Rosewood who worked in Sumner said the assailant had actually been Taylor's lover, and her story was a cover to spare her husband's wrath, said Maxine Jones.
Wait. Go back again. Go back.
As word of Taylor's claim spread, some black people in Rosewood who worked in Sumner said the assailant had actually been Taylor's lover, and her story was a cover to spare her husband's wrath.
Right, because she didn't want her husband to come back and whoop on her some more, because the what happened was that she was having an affair with another white man. And he went crazy and beat her up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? And so she didn't want to fear. She feared her husband's wrath, right? So she lied and said it was a black man that assaulted her. Go ahead.
A Florida State University professor of African American history, who co-authored an account of the massacre, the Florida legislature in 1993. While the fear of black-on-white violence had been stoked across the South since the days of slavery, particularly in areas where blacks outnumbered whites, Taylor's claim was especially pernicious.
Stop.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Pernicious.
Pernicious.
Stop. So it says, while the fear of black-on-white violence has been stoked across the South since the days of slavery. Can I ask you a question? What is this black-on-white violence? Where is it?
It's fabricated.
It is fabricated. It's a fable, man. It doesn't happen. Meanwhile, white people go and murder black people all of the time. All of the time. Black people are being murdered here all across the country by white militias. You know what I'm talking about? Mobs of angry white men. Black people are getting murdered. But where's all this black on white violence? It's nowhere, man. It's not real. It's not real. Keep reading, dog.
Oh, God. Taylor's claim came within days of a Ku Klux Klan rally near Gainesville, just to the north of Levy County.
Stop. First, they're talking about black on white violence, right? And now they're talking about a Ku Klux Klan rally.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hate right there. The Ku Klux Klan. That's who's hating right there. It's not black people. Black people are taught to love everybody. God loves everybody. But then the same people that gave you that God loves everybody doctrine be the same people that putting crosses in your front yard, burning them and lynching black men.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. It says Taylor's claim came within days of a KKK rally near Gainesville, just to the north of Levy County. With tensions high, her words set in motion 6 days of violence in which whites from Sumner and neighboring towns and counties descended on Rosewood, intent on finding the alleged assailant and lynching him.
Let's read the next one, man. Let's read the next one.
They were met by gunfire from Rosewood residents who had gotten word of the mob's approach and had barricaded themselves in their homes to make a stand.
Right, because we ain't no punks. Keep going.
Women and children fled to the woods for safety and waited for days in the cold before local train conductors, alerted to the violence, sent a train to rescue them. Some nearby white families hid their black neighbors to protect them.
I don't believe it.
Come on, God. By January 6th, with the town empty and 6 black people and 2 whites dead, the mob burned down what remained of the town. The black residents of Rosewood scattered, abandoning their property, never to return. No one was ever arrested in the case.
No one was ever arrested in the case. So a whole bunch of black people just magically died, and nobody was arrested or accused of anything. All because of white woman's tears. Beware of a white woman's tears. And now brothers in the like rich, successful brothers want to go marry white women.
Right.
When white women was the cause of the murder of most of your brothers and most of your black citizens communities, man. That's crazy. Now let's go back. I can't take no more of this.
I don't blame you.
I can't take no more of this. Give me Obadiah 1:18. We got about 10 minutes.
Come.
Not even.
Make that right quick.
Man, we got to come back to this next week. Dang, man. I didn't mean to have so many scriptures and so much, evidence of the white man's crimes.
I don't think the class would ever end if you try to get all of it. You know what I'm talking about? Like this is a class that could take up a whole entire spiral when you think about it. Obadiah. 8:3.
Obadiah 1:18. Obadiah 1:18. 1:18.
Come on, I got it. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire.
Right.
And the house of Joseph a flame.
Right.
And the house of Esau for stubble.
For what?
For stubble.
For what?
For stubble.
For stubble, man. I mean, all of his buildings and everything's gonna be burnt down, man. Everything that has to do with so-called white civilization is gonna be burnt down in stubble. Go ahead.
And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it.
Who has spoken it?
The Lord hath spoken
That's
it.
what I'm talking about, man. The Lord is saying this, man. The Lord is bringing this out. The Lord is telling you what's going to happen to Esau, man, because the Lord has spoken it. We're not just saying this. The Lord spoke this, man. The Lord has said this, man. It says Esau for stubble, right? It says we shall kindle in them and devour them. And you know what I mean? So we're going to devour. Give me Jeremiah 16:16. Give me Jeremiah 16:16 where the Lord said this. Hold up. My bad. I see. There it is.
Okay, I got it right here.
Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers.
Right, we're going to send for many fishers. That's what we're doing right now. We're fishing. We're fishing, brother. We're fishing, trying to find all the Lord's priests and prophets.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing. We're fishing right now. Go ahead.
And they shall fish them.
All right, we're going to fish the people. That's what we're doing. That's what we go out there to camp to do all the time. What we do, boots on the ground. So we're doing right here with class. We're fishing for people. Go ahead.
And after will I send for many hunters.
After we'll do what?
Send for many hunters.
What? He's going to have many hunters after that. We're going to devour the house of Israel. I mean, we're going to devour the house of Esau. We're going to devour them. We're going to look for. There's nowhere they're going to hide. Go ahead.
And they shall hunt them from every mountain.
We're going to hunt them from every what?
Every mountain.
We're going to hunt them from every mountain. Every mountain, we're going to hunt Esau, man. We're going to find Esau, man. There's nowhere he's going to run to escape judgment. Go ahead.
And from every hill.
And from every what?
And from every hill.
Every hill, man. There's nowhere that he is going to run that he's going to be okay. Because we're going to find him everywhere we go. Go ahead.
And out of the holes of the rocks.
And out of the what?
Out of the holes of the rocks.
Out of the clefts of the rocks, man. Out of the clefts of the rocks. That's where we're gonna get him at, man. What is the cleft of the rock, man? It's like a cave.
Like a cave.
Like a cave in a rock, man. What does the word Caucasian mean?
Caveman.
Yeah, a cave dweller. That's what the word Caucasian means. That's why we call them Caucasians, because they dwelt in Mount Seir. Right. So that's where they at, man. That's where we're gonna find them at, man. We're gonna hunt them from the clefts of the rock, because they're gonna go into those mountains, to those caves, and try to hide. We're gonna be right there, like, hey, the Lord wants you, the Lord's gonna get you. You know what I mean? Like, hey, come on out here. Just like they did us, man. Now they hunt our steps. Got everything. Boom.
Could I just add what you're saying real quick? Because when you read further into this, when it's talking about how mad he is at him, he says, "For they have defiled my land."
Right.
Like the Most High is looking at what's happening now and remembering what the Romans did before, where they destroyed the temple.
Right.
Where they destroyed his land. They destroyed Jerusalem.
I give you one better. Not better, but I gave you one before. You remember when Alexander died, and they split up his kingdom,
right?
And the Seleucids went into Israel, and they were dealing with them not righteously. You remember that? And
right.
They was murdering people, and there was sacrificing.
Oh, they was defiling the temple.
They were defiling the temple, sacrificing swine on the altar. Remember that? You remember that? And that's why the Lord sent Mattathias and his sons, the Maccabees boys. You know what I'm talking about? You remember that?
That's a movie right there.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Esau is gonna get his, man, because Esau don't care about nothing. Esau don't care about nothing. If you was here last week, I told you just showed how he sold his birthright for that pottage, and then was mad at Jacob for collecting on his payment. How you gonna be mad at Jacob for collecting on his payment when you sold it? You didn't care. You said, "What is a birthright?" That was you said. What is a birthright to me? Like you didn't need the birthright, but then when Jacob got the birthright, you was mad.
Like you never wanted to pay up in the first place.
Yeah, you feel me? Like just like a liar and a cheat, just like a white man.
Man, that's exactly how he is. He like that on Wall Street too.
Right, and then he wanted to murder. Then he wanted to murder Jacob. He wanted to kill Jacob after Isaac died. He wanted to kill Jacob, and Jacob's mama went to him and was like, "You need to go because your brother Esau wants to murder you."
You know, he's never been fair, because like even in the stock market, he'll use the shorting method to sell shares because he can't wait. He needs to drop the price now. He wants his win now. But when it's time for him to pay up and buy back them shares, he don't want to buy back the share. He want to try to find ways, loopholes to avoid having to pay up.
Man, what's that white collar crime? They be having Ponzi schemes.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the same thing. It's
I
like
know.
All he do is cheat and lie, and he try to connive his way to always stay on top.
Right.
But the time's coming where he ain't gonna be on top.
That's like white men in sports. White men in sports always get caught for having steroids. I have never not once heard of a black man using steroids. Have you?
Nah.
I've never heard of a black man using steroids to get an upper hand on the competition. We're just naturally good like that.
Hell yeah.
But there's so many white men that need to use steroids to try to get an upper hand on everybody because they know they ain't got it. Like what's that white man that hit all them home runs?
Babe Ruth?
No, Babe Ruth wasn't on steroids.
I don't know.
Man, it's a white man and he's more recent.
I'm not big on baseball.
I was gonna say King Griffey. I was gonna say Kurt Griffey Jr.
Hey, he black though.
Yeah, you do. It's on the tip of my tongue, man. It's on the tip of my tongue, man. They just took his championships away from him, and the whole team and everything, because he came out and said that he was on steroids. Fudge. He played for the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't like I said. I don't know baseball like that.
Fudge.
To me, baseball isn't as athletic as other sports. Like you see a lot of people in baseball, they be, they just
beer bellies and shit.
Yeah.
Except A-Rod. I call him A-Rod.
A-Rod.
Yeah, because Aaron Rodriguez, but he has.
You move like Lamar Jackson, then we talking.
Boy, I ain't moving like Lamar Jackson.
Nobody move like Lamar Jackson.
Listen to move like prime time. You gotta remember Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson in prime
Bo
time.
Jackson, that's a whole different beast.
Bo Jackson in prime time played football and baseball, and they didn't, and professionally, and they didn't use no steroids. I'm just saying. And with that, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat to all the brothers, Yahweh Shem Allah Than by Hashem, Yahweh sisters, Yahweh Shem Allah Than by Hashem, Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. Go to I.S.U.P.K, starting at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth of the Bible since 1969. And with that, I pass the class over to the officer Ayala One.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for the new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, they will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, is found in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Ma'ashara means 10th in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offerings for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We're going to have the Passover. Well, I guess that's the next one, right? The Passover.
No. Purim.
Kind of slacking. The next convocation is going to be Purim. The 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month. This is going to take place on Monday, the 14th February, and Tuesday, the 15th of February. This is found in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 through 31. Read up on those so you can catch up. Make sure you understand what Purim is talking about. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pant, headband, and scarf. And with that, that concludes the I.S.U.P.K security announcements.
Mark McGuire.
What are you talking about?
That's his name. Mark
McGuire. That was his name? Okay.
Mark McGuire. I knew I was tripping. I was thinking like, man. So now you face Frank.
All right. Sorry, we're going to turn and face the east.
No.
Oh, you just face the front? Salakia. So we're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the ancient Hebrew and then in the English. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwuska, Thaba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kuwa, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathan Lano, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalach Lano, Kawawath Now, Kasalach Now, Kawawath Now, Walla Allah. Tabi'ai now. Banasaya 1. Abal. Habashai now. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha Allah. Wata Pa'arat. I will love you. Aman.
Now go ahead. You got it.
What we said was, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not unto temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
You got it.
All right, we're going to give brothers one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Amad Shabbat, Amadim, Barak, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabbat, Yad Matah. Turn to face the sisters. All right, we're going to give the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Amadim Shabbat, Amadim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Than Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Yad Matah. Class dismissed.